What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Wednesday, September 4th. Tuesday, guys, we took a lot of bad beats. We had Washington versus Miami. We had the over in that game. Ended up in a 6-2 Washington win, so only one run short of us winning that bet. And yeah, 19 hits, 2 errors, only 8 runs in that game. So feeling pretty unlucky just getting out of the gates there. We had the Mets minus 130. That was a solid 7-2 win. Peterson was lights out, and the Boston bullpen continues to be pretty bad. We had the Brewers minus 145. They took a 7-4 loss in 12 innings, guys. A home team losing in extra innings. Pretty bad luck there. With the Brewers bullpen, the best bullpen by bullpen ERA in Major League Baseball, blowing it in extra innings. We also had the Yankees minus 135. That was a 7-4 loss there. Rodon was incredible in that game. Holmes blew the game in the 9th inning, giving up 4 runs for the Yankees to eventually take the loss. So devastating way to lose that one. We also had the Diamondbacks. They ended up winning 8-7. That was a very much needed win. They tried to blow that one late as well, but an insurance run they scored late in the game came in very handy. So go ahead and cash the Arizona minus 120, but a 2-3 day again. Not what we were looking for. Let's see if we can bounce back here, getting after it in the last day before the NFL season opener. Before we jump into the games though, guys, hit that like button. It helps me out and helps the channel a ton, and it's a big thank you for putting out all this free content every single day. If you're new around here or haven't already, subscribe to the channel for free to get notifications on our daily uploads, and you can now sign up for a channel membership. We are working on some members perks for the channel, so stay tuned for those. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering Major League Baseball, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up, and also to join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and we'll give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the Philadelphia Phillies going on the road to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. The Phillies come into this game fresh off of a wild 10-9 win there against Toronto in game 1 of this series. Schwarber hit 3 home runs in that game. Absolutely insane stuff. The Phillies are handing the ball in this one to Christopher Sanchez. He's 9-9 on the year with a 3.49 ERA. His last start, not his best stuff against Atlanta, guys. 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs allowed. Only 2 of them were earned. It was a game we saw the Phillies get the win, so maybe give him a little bit of credit there, but I will say his last couple of starts have not filled me with tons of optimism here. I mean, coming off of that complete game outing against Washington, definitely seems like that took a toll on his arm, so we'll see how he looks here going up against the Blue Jays. We've got the Phillies bullpen, which has definitely been something of a problem here down the stretch, guys. I mean, maybe just a slight bit better here recently. They're down to a 3.95 bullpen ERA, so obviously not a disaster really anymore, but definitely not a bullpen that I'm going to be comfortable with, just handing them a 1-run, maybe even a 2-run lead and think they're going to bring it home all the time. That is just not going to be the case for this bullpen. The offense obviously hitting the ball well coming off of a 10-run game, but these were 10, 3, 3, 2, and 5 runs over their last few games. Obviously not ideal stuff there. We've seen good stuff from Trey Turner lately, obviously good stuff from Schwarber in that last game, but yeah, consistency's been a bit of a problem recently, even for a team that's clearly top 10, probably more like top 5 in the majors up there at the plate. So looking at their opponent in this game, we've got the Blue Jays. They come into this one losers of 3 out of their last 4 at 67 and 73 on the year. Not exactly that they're heading anywhere important. They're going to be hitting the ball to Bowden Francis in this game. He's sporting a 3.66 ERA coming off of an absolutely dominant start against Boston. Overall, guys, his last 5 starts have all been very, very good. Yeah, just not a lot he could improve on here. Last start against Boston, 7 innings, 1 hit, 5 strikeouts, 0 walks, 0 runs allowed. In a game we saw Toronto eventually win 2-0. So absolutely fantastic stuff from Francis over his last few starts. Nothing bad for me to say about him whatsoever. We'll see how he holds up against the Phillies, but I'm expecting good stuff from him again in this one. In terms of their bullpen, though, that is a huge problem for Toronto. They are the 3rd worst bullpen in Major League Baseball, a 4.81 bullpen ERA. Obviously, a very, very bad. Their offense, not really an offense that you can rely on, guys. They are coming off a game. They scored 9 runs, 9, 3, 15, 0, and 2 runs over their last few games. They can have some big outburst games. I don't really understand where those come from necessarily, considering how poorly this team is hit on average over the course of the season, with the exception of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But still, guys, not an offense that I'm hyped about. Tied for 18th in the majors in runs scored, 17th in the majors in batting average. Like, just not putting up crazy numbers. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Phillies at minus 122, the Blue Jays at plus 105. We got an over-under of 8 in this one. The Phillies are 34-31 on the road. Toronto is 34-34 at home. We've got both teams showing trends towards the over here, with Toronto being a big over team at home, 40-27-1 to the over at home. guys, we may be going against these trends because I'm leaning towards the under in this game. Given these two starters, maybe under in the first 5, maybe no run first inning. Those could all be reasonable in this spot. But generally speaking, in terms of the side in this game, I don't think I can ignore that value there on the Blue Jays at plus 105. I know picking them with their bullpen the way it is scary, and I don't think this is going to end up in the pinned comment. But generally speaking, I think the value in this one is on that under or the Blue Jays plus 105. Next up, guys, you're looking at the Chicago White Sox going on the road to take on the Baltimore Orioles. The White Sox come into this game fresh off of a 9-0 loss. Just not even keeping things competitive at all, guys. They've lost 12 in a row. They're the worst team in Major League Baseball, no doubt about it. They're going to be giving the ball to Jonathan Cannon in this one. He's 2-9 on the season with a 4.70 ERA, even having one of the best names you could possibly have as a starting pitcher in the major leagues. That has not led to a ton of success recently. I would say over his last 4 starts, he's been pretty mediocre. And yeah, his last time out against the Mets, 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs in a game we saw the White Sox lose 5-1. So yeah, not a lot of good things to say about Jonathan Cannon, how he's throwing the ball right now. I do think his future is bright and that name is amazing, but really not a lot of bright spots for him recently. Also, guys, the White Sox bullpen, second worst in the majors, a 5.04 bullpen ERA. Absolutely just embarrassingly bad. And the bats have been terrible as well, guys. 0-3, 0-3, and 1 run over their last few games. Dead last in runs scored, dead last in on-base percentage, dead last in slugging percentage, and second to last in batting average, batting .219 as a team. So yeah, very low on the Chicago White Sox. No big shocker there. They're taking on the Orioles, who have been taking advantage of the White Sox so far in the series, winning 6-1, 13-3, and 9-0. Baltimore is currently in first place in the AL East. They're going to be handing the ball to Albert Suarez, who's 7-4 in the year with a 3.14 ERA. His last several starts, I would say all 5 of his last 5 starts have been very, very good, guys. Last time out, 7 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs in a 5-3 win there at the Colorado Rockies. Things are definitely looking very solid for Suarez, who's maybe had some hiccups this season, but generally speaking has been pretty freaking solid. Not a lot of complaints for me. He does have a dominant, albeit kind of short start against the White Sox back in May, so not expecting him to have any trouble with them in this particular matchup. And the Orioles bullpen's been getting a little bit better recently. Playing against the White Sox will do that for you guys. A 3.98 bullpen ERA, definitely reasonable. They're hoping they can keep those kind of numbers up through the end of the season. In terms of the offense, obviously they're killing it, scoring 9, 13, and 6 runs over the last few games. But like I said, going up against the White Sox definitely will help there. This offense has not been as good recently as it was, earlier in the season where they looked insane. But yeah, still third best in runs scored, still the top slugging percentage team in the majors, and still top 10 in batting average. So generally speaking, I do think this is an offense we can trust to put up some runs. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the White Sox at plus 260, the Orioles at minus 320. We got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. The White Sox are terrible, guys. 13-55 on the road. That's an MLB worst record on the road. Baltimore 41-30 at home, so a very good home team. In terms of over-under trends, guys, nothing from Chicago, and the Orioles are an over team at home. With that 8.5 out there, I don't really know if I want to go towards the over necessarily, so maybe a slight lean towards the under. But guys, I'm not interested in that over-under. I'm very interested in taking the Orioles to finish off this series. If you take them minus 1.5, you're going to be around minus 130, minus 140, somewhere in that range. If you take them minus 2.5, you can get them at plus 115. That seems a little bit appealing. I'm leaning towards just taking them minus that 1.5. A little bit expensive of a price there, but obviously they're taking on the worst team in Major League Baseball, so I think it's not a terrible spot. We'll see if this ends up in the pinned comment just based on that price. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Houston Astros going on the road to take on the Cincinnati Reds. The Astros come into this game fresh off of a disappointing 5-3 loss there at the Reds in Game 1 of this series. That loss snapped a 5-game winning streak. The Astros are 75-63 on the year, 6 games up on Seattle there in the AL West. They're going to be giving the ball to Spencer Arrighetti in this game. He's 7-11 on the year with a 4.63 ERA. His last couple of starts, guys, absolutely lights out against elite opponents. At the Phillies, his last game, guys, 7 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 11 strikeouts, 4 walks, and 0 runs allowed. His start at Baltimore before that, guys, 6 innings, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, 0 runs allowed in that one. So Arrighetti comes into this game absolutely dealing. We'll see what he can do here against the Reds, a team that he has yet to face this season. We'll see what we get out of that Astros bullpen, guys. They have been much, much better down the stretch here, guys. 4th in the majors in bullpen ERA, and the offense is usually where the question marks arise for this Astros team. I mean, they've scored 3, 7, 5, 3, 6, and 10 runs over their last few games. They're 12th in the majors in runs scored, 3rd in the majors in batting average, 10th in the majors and on base percentage. This is a pretty good offensive team, guys. Absolutely no doubt about that. Just inconsistent in run production. So we'll see what we get out of them in this one. I'm expecting good things here, though, going up against the Cincinnati Reds, who come into this game winners of their last 2 in a row, but it's 66 and 73 on the year. Seems like it's a little bit too little, a little bit too late. They're going to be hitting the ball to Nick Martinez in this one. He comes into this game making another start. His last one was not a great one against the Brewers, guys. 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs. He gave up 2 home runs in that game. So yeah, a bit concerned about what we'll see from him in this one. He's had some very good outings this year, don't get me wrong, but his last, I would say, at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 outings have not filled me with confidence. In terms of their bullpen, Cincinnati's taken an absolute nosedive from being one of the best to being in the middle of the pack, a 3.90 bullpen ERA. Not exactly what they were looking for. Not a disaster, but not amazing. And the offense is usually the problem child here for the Reds. They've scored 5, 4, 4, 0, and 4 runs over their last few games. They're 15th in the majors in runs scored, but 25th in batting average, 19th in on base percentage. This just isn't really an offense that I can get excited about unless we've got Elly De La Cruz out there running the bases. That is some of the most exciting stuff in Major League Baseball. So looking at the numbers for this one, we've got the Astros at -134, the Reds at +115. We've got an over-under of 9 in this game. Houston 34 and 34 on the road. Cincinnati 34 and 39 at home. We've actually got both teams showing pretty significant trends towards the under here. Houston's actually the biggest under team when playing on the road in the MLB. 40, 26, and 2 to the under on the road. The Reds are 36, 31, and 6 to the under at home. Guys, I think under 9 has a good amount of value in this one. I'm a little bit worried about Martinez out there, but not a ton. I think he'll be fine, and the Reds bullpen isn't horrible. So yeah, I definitely think under 9 is very, very live in this game. I also wouldn't fault you at all for taking the Astros at -134 if you think Martinez could have a hard time, but I'm more worried about the Astros offense. And I know this is weird taking unders at the Great American Ballpark, but as you can see this season, when playing at home, the Reds are an under team. So yeah, give me under 9 in this one. That's my bigger lean. Next up, we're looking at the Washington Nationals going on the road to take on the Miami Marlins. The Nationals come into this game fresh off a 6-2 win there at Miami in game 1 of this series. At 62 and 76 on the year, though, not a team that's headed anywhere important. They're handing the ball to Mackenzie Gore. He's 8 and 11 this season with a 4.45 ERA. His last couple of starts, though, have been very good against good opponents, guys. At home against the Yankees, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. And at Atlanta, 6 innings, 7 hits, only 1 earned run, and 4 strikeouts in that game. So, yeah, Mackenzie Gore definitely comes into this one throwing the ball pretty well. What can we expect from him here against the Marlins? Well, he had a very, very good start against Miami back in mid-June. So, yeah, I think there's a decent chance that we see another solid outing out of him in this one. He definitely comes into this game throwing the ball well. So, we'll see what we get. We'll also see what we get from that Washington bullpen that hasn't been amazing here down the stretch. A 4.13 bullpen ERA for a bullpen that was pretty good at several different points this season. So, we'll see what happens with that. In terms of their offense, that's where a lot of the problems are for this team, guys. They scored 6, 1, 3, 6, and 5 runs over their last few. So not swinging the coldest bats necessarily. I mean, we see Luis Garcia Jr., he's batting almost 300 this year. CJ Abrams has done some positive things, but over the course of the season, the Nationals are only 22nd in the majors in runs scored and 24th in the majors in slugging percentage. So definitely a bit worried about their bats here going up against the Marlins, who come into this game winners of 2 out of their last 3, but not of their last one, guys. They're 51 and 87 on the year, so not exactly having a great time. They're going to be hitting the ball to Volante Beloso in this game. He's 2-2 on the year with a 4.32 ERA. His last couple of starts have been very problematic, guys. His last time out, it was at Coors Field, guys. 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, including 3 home runs. He's given up a total of 7 home runs over his last 3 starts. Really, really bad stuff from Beloso right now. Not feeling very good about this young 24-year-old at the moment. In terms of their bullpen, Miami, maybe not a disaster, but a 4.08 bullpen ERA doesn't exactly fill me with tons of optimism. And at the plate, what do we think of the Marlins? Well, they've scored 2, 7, 4, 1, and 12 runs over their last few games. They're 29th in the majors in runs scored this season, 18th in batting average, but 29th in on-base percentage. Like, this is just not an elite offensive team. So definitely significant questions for me here about the Marlins. And looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Nationals at -135, the Marlins at +118. We got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. Washington is only 30 and 39 on the road. Miami is 25 and 45 at home. In terms of the over-under, nothing to look at for Washington, but Miami is the biggest over team at home in the major leagues, 48, 18, and 4 to the over at home. Taking over 8.5 again today doesn't seem super appealing, but I wouldn't blame anyone that wants to do it. I think we'll see some offense in this game, no doubt about it, but guys, I'm leaning pretty hard towards the Nationals at -135 in this spot. I'm expecting a very good start from Mackenzie Gore. Beloso has not been throwing the ball well recently for Miami, so yeah, go ahead and give me the Nationals in this one. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Minnesota Twins going on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Twins come into this game fresh off of a 2-1 loss in Game 2 of their series at Tampa Bay. They're going to be hitting the ball in this one to Ronnie Henriquez. He comes into this game coming out of the bullpen, guys, so it looks like it's going to be a bullpen start situation here for Minnesota. This guy's been really, really good out of the pen over his last 3 outings. He's been fantastic, so expecting good stuff from him. We don't really have a great idea of how deep he's going to go into the game. In terms of their bullpen overall, Minnesota a little bit below average, a 3.95 bullpen ERA, so I'm a little bit worried about the Twins pitching situation for this one, but I wouldn't say that I'm terrified necessarily. I think they could be fine out there. In terms of their hitting, that's been a big issue lately, guys. They've scored 1-5-4-0 and 2 runs over their last few games. 10th in the majors in runs scored, 11th in the majors in batting average, but these are all numbers that are trending down in a big, big way right now. So worried about the Twins offense, no doubt about it, heading into this game against the Rays, who come into this game, fresh off of that much needed win, but at 68-70 on the year, I don't think they're headed anywhere important. They're going to be hitting the ball in this one to Cole Sulser. He's a bullpen guy as well, so it looks like we're going to have back-to-back bullpen start situations. His last outing was a very good one against the San Diego Padres, guys. It was back on the first, 2 2/3 innings, only a single hit. He did walk 3, but he managed to get himself out of trouble, and honestly, guys, this is a veteran pitcher. I do expect him to be able to go a few innings out there if they need him to, so yeah, expecting decent stuff here. In terms of their bullpen, guys, Tampa Bay's been very good recently, a 3.78 bullpen ERA. That's in the top 10 in the majors. They are doing some work out there in the pen. It's looking pretty good. The problem for Tampa Bay this season has been their offense. They've scored 2, 4, 3, 11, and 5 runs over their last few games. They're 28th in the majors in runs scored, 28th in the majors in slugging percentage, and they're only batting .231 as a team. So just not an offense that there's really any reason to have very much faith in. And looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Twins at -115, the Rays at -105. We've got an over/under of 8.5 in this one. Minnesota is 36-33 on the road. Tampa Bay is 36-37 at home. We've got Minnesota just a slight over team on the road, but they are not swinging the bats like an over team right now. And Tampa Bay is a 50-50 over/under team at home. In terms of the side in this game, guys, it's a really, really tough one to figure out for me. I would lean maybe slightly towards the Rays at home in this spot, but really not too interested in the side. I'm more interested in that over/under. I know this is a bullpen start from both teams, and that could theoretically get a little bit sketchy, but I think that's why we have that full 8.5 number out here, guys. I'm definitely leaning towards the under in this spot. I don't like the way either team is swinging the bats right now. Both bullpens are putting decent guys out there at least to start things off, and neither bullpen is really terrible, so I do think there's a very good shot we see offense be at a premium in this game, making the under 8.5 very, very live. Rolling right along through these games, guys, we've got the Boston Red Sox going on the road to take on the New York Mets. The Red Sox come into this game losers again. They've lost their last 4 in a row. They're hitting the ball in this one to Tanner Houck, hoping he can get them back on the right path. He's 8-9 this year with a 3.12 ERA. His last start was a very good one, actually his best start in recent memory, guys. He was at Detroit, 6 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs allowed. He struck out 6 in that one. It took Boston extra innings to win that game, though. So yeah, a little bit sketchy there. And his start before that against Arizona did not go well. So I'm a little bit worried here about Houck. We'll see how he does pitching against the Mets, a team that he has not faced yet this season. Their bullpen is a huge concern for Boston right now, guys. They are 24th in the majors with a 4.51 bullpen ERA. That is real bad, guys. Major concerns there for their bullpen, and the offense hasn't been digging them out recently, guys. They've scored 2, 1, 1, 1, and 7 runs over their last few games. The game before that, they got shut out 2-0. So not exactly a team that I'm very excited about the way they're swinging the bats, guys. And this has been some pretty bad numbers against teams that aren't that great, like Detroit and Toronto. So very, very concerned about this offense. They're still 8th in the majors in runs scored, 5th in the majors in batting average. I don't care about those year-long numbers too much in this specific situation, guys, and all of those year-long numbers are trending way down at the moment. So we'll see what they can do here against the Mets, who come into this one playing great. They've won 6 in a row. They're hitting the ball in this one to Taylor Megill. He comes into this game at 3-5 on the season with a 4.82 ERA. His last couple of starts have been very, very good. His last start against the White Sox, take that with a grain of salt, and his outing before that was actually a bullpen outing against Minnesota, and he was decent but not great in that one. So definitely somebody we have some question marks about here in Megill. I mean, not somebody that you really, really feel like you can just hand the ball to and trust him to, go out there 5, 6, 7 innings. So yeah, significant concerns there, and also some concerns about that Mets bullpen. A 3.98 bullpen ERA does not have them in the top half of the majors, so that's a bit problematic as well. Not the best bullpen, and while the bats have been good recently, scoring 7, 4, 2, 5, and 5 over the last few games, a lot of this recent upturn has been wins against the White Sox and the slumping Boston Red Sox. So we'll see how this thing goes for the Mets in this game. Looking at the numbers, we've got Boston at -112, the Mets at -102. We've got an over-under of 8 in this game. Boston is 39-31 on the road. The Mets are 37-32 at home. We've actually got both teams showing trends towards the over here, with Boston being 39-28 and 3 to the over on the road, and the Mets being just a slight over team, 35-34 to the over when playing at home. With a number of only 8 here and a couple of starters I don't really trust, I definitely think over 8 is the value in this game. I don't think I trust it quite enough to be on it in the pinned comment, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't have a chance here, guys. So we'll be looking at that over 8 for sure. In terms of a side, I would lean slightly towards the Red Sox in some sort of like a bounce back, they're due for a win situation, but I don't really have very much to say about that. I'm leaning much more here towards this over. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Colorado Rockies going on the road to take on the Atlanta Braves. The Rockies come into this game fresh off a 3-0 loss in Game 1 of this series. They're not having a great time at 51-88 on the year. They're going to be giving the ball to Bradley Blaylock in this game. He's 1-1 this season with a 4.98 ERA. His last start, he got absolutely obliterated by the Marlins. 4 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs allowed. 6 of them were earned. He gave up a home run in that game. His start before that against the Yankees was fantastic. I mean, with a 23-year-old pitcher, you're going to need to be expecting the unexpected. This guy is not going to be consistent up there. So we'll see how he looks in this start, but I'm not going to be holding my breath for anything positive. In terms of their bullpen, guys, that has been a massive, massive problem for Colorado all season long. A 5.52 bullpen ERA over the season. Absolutely dead last in the majors. A disaster bullpen in terms of their offense. Not looking great right now. They've scored a total of 1 run over their last 2 games. 0, 1, 7, 3, and 8 runs over their last few. That 8-run game, though, came in a 12-8 loss. Over the course of the year, they're masquerading like an average offense, but getting to play half your games at Coors Field will do that for a team, and just generally speaking, not very high on this offense at all. They're taking on the Atlanta Braves, who come into this one 75-63 on the year, fresh off that 3-0 win. They're going to be handing the ball to Charlie Morton in this one. He's 7-7 on the year with a 4.26 ERA. His last couple, 3, maybe 4 starts, honestly, have all been very, very good. A good one against the Phillies, a good one against the Nationals, a very good one at the Angels, and a great one at the San Francisco Giants. So yeah, expecting pretty good stuff from Uncle Charlie here against a pretty weak hitting opponent, no doubt about that one. And whenever he has to come out of the game, guys, that Atlanta bullpen has been fantastic all season long. They're currently 3rd in the majors in bullpen ERA, so really very little negative for me to say about this pitching staff, at least in this particular situation. In terms of their offense, guys, I do have some negative things to say, though. The Braves swinging some pretty cold bats. They scored 3, 2, 0, 7, and 4 runs over their last few games. This has not been a great offensive team over the course of the year, more like slightly below average. They lean really hard on Ozuna to kind of carry the load out there offensively, and he's not going to be able to do that every night. That's not how this sport works. 17th in the majors in runs scored, 16th in the majors, batting .241 as a team. They're 22nd in the majors in on-base percentage, guys. Not a crazy good offense. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Rockies at plus 240. We've got the Braves at minus 295. We've got over-unders out there of 8.5. Colorado is 19-51 on the road, so a terrible road team. Atlanta's a very good home team at 37-28. In terms of the over-under, guys, Colorado's actually an over team on the road, but Atlanta is 43-21-1 to the under at home. That's an MLB best mark to the under. Guys, in terms of a side in this one, I do think there's a good chance the Braves win. Do I think it's worth taking them at minus 295? Absolutely not. I think the under is the play in this one. If you take under 8.5, it seems very, very reasonable. The Rockies are swinging some cold bats. We see very good stuff from both starters at different points, and Morton's really throwing the ball well recently. I am scared of that Rockies bullpen having just an absolute implosion, but the Braves' bats have been nice and cold recently, so under 8.5 seems very reasonable to me. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. First of all, this is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. If you just want to test out the service, a great way to do that is by joining our free email list, which will get you the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Just go ahead and click that link in the description. It'll take you right over to stumpthespread.com. Also, guys, just to clarify some of the questions we've been getting in the emails and in the comments, I am not the MLB capper for stumpthespread.com. These YouTube picks are obviously free to everyone and are just what I am seeing out there. We have an expert with nearly 15 years of experience that covers MLB and has a very strong algorithm and some very cool tools that he uses to bring our premium members the best picks possible. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new. Now back to the game. games. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Cleveland Guardians going on the road to take on the Kansas City Royals. The Guardians come into this game fresh off of another win. They've now won 3 in a row and 5 of their last 6 overall. They're up to a 4.5 game cushion in the AL Central. They're giving the ball to Ben Lively in this game. He's 11-8 on the season with a 3.92 ERA. He's in a bounce back spot, guys. His last start was absolutely terrible against the Pirates. Obviously not a team you expect him to have such struggles against, so we'll see what he can do here going against the Royals, a team that he faced back in late June, and he had a very good 6-inning start against them in that one. So expecting decent stuff from him in what is certainly a bounce back spot. Also expecting good stuff from that Cleveland bullpen, guys. Tied for first in the majors with a 2.80 bullpen ERA. The question for this team has been the offense at times, but it's been good recently. 7, 4, and 6 runs over their last few games. We've seen good stuff from guys like Ramirez. Just generally speaking, though, this team is swinging some pretty solid bats. A lot better than their season averages right now. So we'll see what they can do here against the Royals, who come into this game absolutely in a free fall, guys. They have now lost 7 straight. Not having a good time. They're handing the ball in this one to Seth Lugo, hoping that he can stop the bleeding. He's 14-8 this year with a 3.12 ERA. He's coming off a great start at Houston, a game the Royals managed to lose 3-2, but he went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, only a single earned run in that game while striking out 9. So expecting pretty good stuff from him. We'll see what we get going up against Cleveland, a team that he faced back in late June and had a very, very good start against as well. I mean, 6 innings, 4 hits, 10 strikeouts, and no runs allowed. Definitely workable there. In terms of their bullpen, that's a big concern for the Royals, guys. They are 25th in the majors with a 4.54 bullpen ERA. That is a big old yikes for me, and the offense has disappeared. They've scored 1, 2, 2, 2, and 2 runs over their last few games. Bobby Witt Jr. doing everything he can, but generally speaking, this offense absolutely in the dumps at the moment. A place they've been before this season, for sure. They've had some very high highs and some very low lows on offense. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we've got Cleveland at plus 120, the Royals at minus 134. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. Cleveland is 37-34 on the road. The Royals are 41-30 at home. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under. Cleveland is a pretty big under team on the road. You could definitely talk me into a look at under 8.5, but with the Royals bullpen, that's not super appealing to me. I'm leaning more towards the Guardians here at plus 120. I definitely think we could see Lively have something of a bounce back, and if we don't get a great start from Lugo or the Royals bats don't come back alive, like things could get very, very bleak. Is this a game that I love? Not really, but it's definitely one to keep track of. There are some major implications here. Next up, guys, we're leading the Pittsburgh Pirates going on the road to take on the Chicago Cubs. The Pirates come into this game fresh off of a 5-0 win there with Skeens out on the mound. They're going to be hitting the ball in this one to Domingo Germán. He comes into this game fresh off of a kind of mediocre bullpen appearance there against Cleveland, and he's not somebody that's been throwing the ball particularly well as of late, and he's usually a bullpen guy. The last time he started, he was great against the Rangers, but he's not facing the Rangers in this one. He's facing a Cubs team that shelled him back on August 26th. So definitely worried about him in this one. Also worried about the Pirates bullpen all the time. 4th worst in the majors right now. The offense obviously looking a little bit better recently, scoring 5 runs in each of their last 2 games, but not a great offensive team. 21st in the majors in runs scored, 26th in the majors in slugging percentage, and just not an offense that I'm very confident in. They're not a great hitting team. There's just no way around that here, and they're taking on the Cubs, who come into this game losers of 2 in a row. They probably did not expect to get off to such a rocky start here to this series. They're going to be handing the ball to their ace, Shota Imanaga, in this game. He's 11-3 this year with a 3.14 ERA. He's coming off of a very decent start, not his best stuff at the Nationals, guys. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. In a game we saw the Cubs win 7-6. His start before that, though, was very good at the Marlins. Start for that dominant against Toronto. Like, this is a guy they've been able to count on pretty much all season long. Really, very few times he's taken his foot off the gas. In terms of their bullpen, the Cubs are also very good. Close to top 10 in the majors with a 3.81 bullpen ERA. And the bats have looked much better recently. Not so much in this series, scoring 3 and 0 runs respectively. But this is a team that can swing the bat pretty well. At times they definitely went through a big hot streak. Is that hot streak officially over now? We'll have to see. But in this game, given the starter they're going up against, and that's a bullpen start for the Pirates, I think they're in a very, very good spot. So yeah, looking at the numbers for this game, we got the Pirates at plus 160, the Cubs at minus 190. We've got an over-under of 8 out there. Guys, there are a couple different things I like in this one. I mean, the Pirates are 33-37 on the road, not great. The Cubs are a very good home team at 36 and 31 at home. Both teams showing trends here towards the under. Not interested in the under. I think this is more like an over game, and I think a lot of that is based on the Cubs are going to score some freaking runs in this one, guys. I don't think we're going to see Imanaga give up much, but I think we could see the Cubs get to over 8 all on their own, which makes me very interested in taking the Cubs at -1.5 in this game. If you take them at -1.5, you can get them all the way up to +118 or 115. We will jump right on that one, guys. Give me the Cubs -1.5 in this one. I think they win in a easy blowout. Next up, guys, we got the St. Louis Cardinals going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Brewers in another NL Central showdown. The Cardinals come into this game 70 and 69 in the year, fresh off of a 7-4 win in Game 2 of this series. They're giving the ball to Sonny Gray in this one. He's 12 and 9 on the year with a 3.96 ERA. The dude looked like an absolute ace early in the season. Recently, that has not so much been the case. His last start was a very good one against the Padres. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, only a single earned run in a game the Cardinals won 4-1. So good stuff there, but he's had his struggles recently and just not somebody that you should have the most confidence in right now. The last time he faced Milwaukee was back in May, and he got absolutely shelled by them, and he got shelled by them, well, maybe not shelled, but knocked around a little bit back in April. Obviously, that's a very long time ago, but regardless, guys, Sonny Gray, not somebody that I'm looking at as throwing the ball amazing at the moment. And looking at the Cardinals bullpen, it's been very good. It's coming off of a very good extra inning game, so it's going to be a bit depleted. That's definitely a problem here with Sonny Gray on the mound unless he comes out and has some sort of amazing performance, goes deep into a game. In terms of the Cardinals offense, it's been maybe a little bit better recently, but I don't know if that's something we can count on continuing. They scored 7, 3, 14, 6, and 3 runs over their last few. They're 22nd in the majors in runs scored, though. That team batting average number keeps inching up. They're up to 13th in the majors. They're 14th in the majors on base percentage. But guys, is this an offense that you really trust? Even me as a lifelong Cardinals fan don't really trust it at all. We'll see what they can do here against the Brewers, who come into this game losers of 2 out of their last 3, but at 81 and 58 on the year, they've got a 10-game lead in the NL Central. They're giving the ball to Colin Ray in this game. He's 12 and 4 on the year with a 3.70 ERA. His last start, not his best stuff against Cincinnati, and honestly, his last 2 starts have been pretty lacking. He did have a great start against Cleveland in the middle of August, but generally speaking, Ray not looking quite as good here down the stretch as he has at other points in the season. He did face the Cardinals once very early in the year and had a lot of success against them, but that was so long ago. Not a lot we can take from that. In terms of the Milwaukee bullpen, they're obviously amazing. Tied for first in the majors with a 2.80 bullpen ERA. The offense has been maybe a little bit hit and miss, no pun intended, as of late, but 4, 9, 3, 5, and 14 runs over the last few. Definitely not a disaster. This offense has been good all year long, guys. 5th in runs scored, 8th in batting average, batting .253 as a team. They're 3rd in the majors in on-base percentage, getting on base at a .332 clip. Like, this is a pretty reasonable offense. So we'll see what they can do here against the Cardinals and against Sonny Gray. The numbers for this game, we've got the Cardinals at -120, the Brewers at +112. We've got an over-under of 8 in this one. The Cardinals are 33 and 37 on the road. Milwaukee is 41 and 25 at home. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under. Milwaukee is a big over team at home. The Cardinals are a slight under team on the road. Not too interested in the over-under, and I'd be lying a little bit if I said I was super interested in this game. I do lean a bit here towards the Brewers at +112. I don't trust either one of these starters right now, though, so I guess that could make me lean towards the over, but generally speaking, guys, this one is more of a stay away spot for me. Next on the docket, guys, we have personally my most hated, and I'm pretty sure on this channel the most hated team. The New York Yankees are going on the road to take on the Texas Rangers. The Yankees gave up a huge lead. They lost due to a grand slam from a rookie there in the bottom of the 9th inning to lose 7-4 at the Texas Rangers there in Game 2 of this series. They're going to be hitting the ball to Marcus Stroman in this one. He's 10 and 6 this year with a 3.81 ERA. His last start was a good one. He gave up a lot of hits against the Cardinals, but 7 innings, 9 hits, only 2 earned runs allowed while striking out 5. Definitely not a disaster, and he's been very reasonable over his last 4 starts, including a great start against the Rangers where he gave only 1 run over 5 innings in a game the Yankees eventually won 8-7. So yeah, guys, the Yankees bullpen is really, I'm starting to ask some questions. I mean, a 3.83 bullpen ERA, fine, nice, cool, whatever. They cannot hold on to leads. This team chokes when you think they're going to play well. Their starting pitching will let you down randomly. Like, this is just not a team that I'm in love with at the moment, and regardless of them having one of the best offenses in Major League Baseball, they've scored 4, 8, 7, 5, and 6 runs over their last few. 2nd in the majors in runs scored, 2nd in the majors in on-base percentage. I don't care about all that. You are going to have a hard time getting me to bet on the Yankees right now, although I say that, and it could definitely happen here as they go up against the Rangers, who come into this game 66-73 on the year, fresh off of that 7-4 win. They've actually won 3 out of their last 4. But yeah, 66-73 on the year, not headed anywhere important. They're giving the ball to Nathan Eovaldi, who's 10-7 this year with a 3.60 ERA. His last start was against the White Sox. He was absolutely lights out in that one, but his starts before that have been a little bit mediocre, including a really bad start at the Yankees back on August 10th, guys. 3 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs in a game we saw the Yankees win 8-0. So are we going to go back to the well here on the Yankees? It's looking like it's a possibility, guys, because that Rangers bullpen is also not very good. They are somewhere around, 23rd in the majors with a 4.44 bullpen ERA. That's not what I would classify as good, and this offense also not amazing, guys. They did have a decent day, scoring 7 runs, but keep in mind 4 of those all came with 1 swing of the bat. They've scored 7, 4, 6, 3, and 2 runs over the last few games, but over the course of the year, 24th in the majors in runs scored, 23rd in the majors in slugging percentage. This is not an elite offensive team. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, they've got us sucked in. I don't know how we can possibly avoid this. The Yankees at -109, the Rangers at -102. We've got an over-under of 9 in this game. The Yankees have an MLB best record on the road. They're 43-27 on the road. The Rangers are 36-33 at home. Well, we've got both teams. We got teams showing mixed trends here towards the over-under. I don't really care about that over-under of 9, guys. This makes me almost sick to my stomach, but we're going to be on the Yankees at -109. It's just too good of a price. We've seen Stroman throwing the ball well recently and well against the Rangers. Obviously, I don't like the Yankees bullpen right now, but I hate the Rangers bullpen, so go ahead and give me the Yankees -109. On paper, this looks like one of the best spots of the day. It just does not feel good to be betting on this one, but you got to do what you got to do. Got to ignore those little biases. You know what happened yesterday isn't necessarily going to affect what happens today, so give me the Yankees. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Los Angeles Dodgers going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Angels. The Dodgers come into this game fresh off of a 6-2 win there in 10 innings, so took them extras, but they figured it out there down the stretch. The Dodgers are 83-55 on the year, hitting the ball in this one to Bobby Miller, who's 2-3 this season with a 7.25 ERA. He is coming off of back-to-back serviceable starts, a good start against Baltimore back on the 29th, 5 innings, 2 hits, 3 earned runs in that one, so, maybe not as sharp as stuff. He did have 3 walks in that game, but generally speaking, his last couple, he's looked pretty good out there. Definitely something the Dodgers need. Their starting pitching could use a little work this season for sure. In terms of their bullpen, it's been excellent, guys. 5th in the majors with a 3.63 bullpen ERA. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. We'll see what they can get done out there in this one against the Angels, but I'm expecting good stuff, and I'm always going to be expecting good stuff from this Dodgers offense. It's been crazy good. Ohtani going nuts out there. This team is 4th in runs scored, 4th in on-base percentage. They've scored 6, 11, 3, 8, and 10 runs over their last few games. They're healthy. There's no reason for this team to not be killing it up there, and that's exactly what they're doing here. They're hoping they can continue this trend against the Angels, who come into this game fresh off of that loss. They're 57-81 on the year, so not having a very good time at all. They're giving the ball to Griffin Canning, who's 4-12 this year with a 5.19 ERA. His last start was at Detroit. Wasn't a terrible one. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. Definitely not elite against a team like the Yankees, though, so a little bit concerned to see Canning going up against a team like the Dodgers. He hasn't faced them yet this year, so we'll see what he can do, but I'm not expecting him to have a good time, and I'm also not expecting good things from that Angels bullpen, guys. A 4.04 bullpen ERA. Not great. They've been a little bit better as of late, but nothing to really write home about. Their offense hasn't been great either, guys. 2, 3, 5, 5, and 3 runs over their last few. 27th in the majors in runs scored, 28th in the majors in batting average. This is not what I would term as a good offense. So looking at the numbers for this one, no major shock to see the Dodgers as big favorites at -196. The Angels are +175. We've got an over-under of 9 in this game. The Dodgers are 37-31 on the road. The Angels are 29-41 at home. They've been a pretty bad home team all season long. We've got mixed, tiny trends towards the over-under, so not too interested in that. If you're begging me for an over-under play on this game, I would probably side slightly towards the over 9.5, but it's kind of a big number. In terms of the side, I definitely like the Dodgers at -196. Taking them -1.5 seems like a little bit of a reach, but if you do, you can get them at around -120, so that's not terrible, but you're banking on, Bobby Miller to have a good start again, which is not impossible. I would understand why you did that, but generally speaking, guys, this is not a game that I'm going to be on in a meaningful way. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the Detroit Tigers going on the road to take on the San Diego Padres. The Tigers come into this game fresh off a 3-0 loss at San Diego in Game 1 of this series. They're going to be hitting the ball in this one to Keter Montero, who's 4-6 this year with a 5.17 ERA. His last start, not an amazing one against the Angels. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. He walked 3 in that game, so not his best stuff, but he had been throwing the ball pretty well going into that game, so we'll see what we get out of Montero in this one. Going up against the Padres, though, really not a super comfortable spot for many starting pitchers. In terms of their bullpen, Detroit has been maybe a hair better than I would have expected this season. A little bit above average right now with a 3.80 bullpen ERA. The offense has been pretty bad, though, guys. I mean, 0, 4, 2, 5, 0, and 3 runs over their last few. Not really killing it. Yeah, they're 28th in the majors in on-base percentage, 26th in the majors in batting average. Like, this is not exactly an offense to write home about. So we'll see what they can do going up against the Padres, who come into this one winners of 3 out of their last 4. They're 5.5 games back of the Dodgers in the NL West. They're going to be hitting the ball to Yu Darvish in this one, coming back off the 15-day IL. The last start we saw him make, guys, was back on May 29th. So it's been quite some time since we've seen him on the mound. When he has been healthy out there, the dude has been absolutely dominant. He had great starts against Atlanta, great start against the Dodgers. Like, Yu Darvish definitely still has amazing plus level stuff. The question just is he really going to be fully healthy? I don't think the Padres would be rushing him back. So I think all signs are at least pointing him to being very healthy for this game. We'll see what actually happens out there. I'm a little bit worried about him, but I am cautiously optimistic. In terms of their bullpen, the Padres have been good here down the stretch, guys. A 3.84 bullpen ERA kind of feels like a miracle for a bullpen that was so bad early in the season. Their offense, maybe not killing it at the moment. 3, 4, 4, and 13 runs over the last few games. Definitely an offense that's much better than that. 6th in the majors in runs scored. They're the top batting average team in the majors, batting .265 as a squad. Like, this is a team that should be creating a little bit more, run scoring out there. So we'll see what they do in this game. Looking at the numbers, we've got the Tigers at +160, the Padres at -180. We've got an over/under of 7.5 in this game. Detroit, they're an over team on the road, 37, 29, and 4 to the over on the road. They're also a 500 team on the road themselves. The Padres, 38 and 31 at home, and they're a big over team at home. 41, 27, and 1 to the over at home. Guys, I don't really have a big lean on the side in this one, to be honest. I do think there could be some benefit in taking over 7.5 with all the trends pointing towards it, and a couple of pitchers with different things going on that could lead to there being some offense. So that's my lean in this game, but generally speaking, it's a stay away spot for me. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Seattle Mariners going on the road here to take on the Oakland A's. Seattle having a rough time again. They've now lost 4 in a row after getting walked off on by Seth Brown. Yeah, not great stuff for the Mariners at the moment. They're handing the ball to George Kirby, who's 10 and 10 this year with a 3.63 ERA. His last start was against the Angels. He got roughed up out there. It seems like this young pitching staff, this young starting rotation, fading a little bit here down the stretch, so that's a little bit sad to see, just not having their best stuff at the moment. The last time he faced Oakland, he was okay, but 6 hits over 5 innings leaves me a little bit concerned. The Seattle bullpen hasn't been killing it down the stretch either, a 3.80 ERA out of the pen. Definitely not as good as they were early in the year, and the story all season long has been how bad the Seattle team is at the plate. 2, 4, 2, 4, and 9 runs over their last few games. They're dead last in the majors in batting average. They're 26th in the majors in runs scored. All those moves they made at the trade deadline to try and shore up this offense really don't seem like they're making a big enough difference. So we'll see what they can do here against the Athletics, who come into this game winners of 2 in a row. They're 61 and 78 on the year, hitting the ball to JP Sears, who's 11 and 9 this season with a 4.21 ERA. His last start was a great one at the Rangers, 7 innings, 5 hits, only a single earned run allowed. In a game we saw the A's win 9-2. So very good stuff there. We'll see what he can do against the Seattle Mariners. Obviously not the toughest hitting opponent. The last time he faced them was back in early June. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits and 2 earned runs. So very good stuff there from Sears. I like the way he's throwing the ball right now, although he did have a bad start against Milwaukee back on the 23rd. We'll see what we get out of him in this one. The Oakland bullpen has also been good, guys, here down the stretch. What is that, 6th, 7th in the majors with a 3.74 bullpen ERA. Absolutely nothing to turn your nose up at there. The offense, maybe they're not killing it, guys. 3, 5, 4, 2, and 9 runs over their last few games. This is a team that can, live and die a little bit by the long ball. They're 15th in the majors in slugging percentage, 25th in the majors in runs scored, though. So not necessarily an offense you look at to be amazing, but in this particular matchup, they don't have to put up that many runs to be in good shape. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Mariners at -142, the A's at +122. We've got an over-under of 7.5 in this game. Seattle's only 28 and 41 on the road. The A's are almost a 500 team at home. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under, with Seattle actually being an over team on the road. Not too interested in that over-under of 7.5, guys, but I am interested in, once again, riding with the Oakland A's at plus 122. I think they're in a good spot. They may have the better starter out there on the mound at the moment. Obviously, I would rather have George Kirby's career ahead of me, but still, guys, give me the A's plus 122 in this one. Last but not least, guys, we're looking at the Arizona Diamondbacks going on the road to take on the San Francisco Giants. The Diamondbacks come into this game fresh off of a very close 8-7 win there over San Francisco in game 1 of that series. Arizona had a big lead early. They tried to give it away. They scored an insurance run late, and my God, did they need it. They end up coming away with a close win. We'll take it, put it on the board. We needed it pretty bad. They're going to be hitting the ball to Zach Gallen in this game here. He's 10-6 on the year with a 3.87 ERA. His last start was against the Dodgers. He did not have a good time, but it was against the freaking Dodgers, guys. Lots of dudes are going to get roughed up by the Dodgers. In terms of his, stats this year against the Giants, he pitched against them back in April. Didn't have the best time, but he wasn't having a good time back in April in general. He's been much better here down the stretch, so we'll see what we get out of him. We'll also see what we get from that Diamondbacks bullpen that did not fill me with optimism there in game 1 of this series. A 4.15 bullpen ERA has them in the bottom 10 in the majors. In terms of their offense, it continues to just kill it out there, guys. They're putting up runs every single night. This is the best offense in Major League Baseball, probably. First in runs scored, second in batting average, first in on-base percentage. Like, they can absolutely kill it up there. So we'll see what they do against the Giants, who've now lost 3 in a row to fall to 68-70 on the year. They're giving the ball to young Hayden Birdsong, who's 3-4 this season with a 5.14 ERA. His last start was at the Milwaukee Brewers. He did not have a good time. 3 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 5 earned runs allowed. Not his best stuff in that one, and now he has to go up against the toughest hitting team in the majors. Seems like a big ask for me from him, who, Birdsong, not somebody that goes deep into games, and when he comes out, that Giants bullpen comes in, a 4.10 bullpen ERA. Absolutely terrible, terrible stuff there. So don't love that. Don't love the situation, generally speaking, for the Giants. The offense is scoring some runs, guys. It's not the best offensive team in the majors. I mean, 18th in runs scored, 20th in batting average, 18th in on-base percentage, but they've managed to put up some runs recently, and they staged a nice rally here late in this game, so we'll see what they can do in this one. Looking at the numbers, we've got the Diamondbacks at minus 140, the Giants at plus 125. We've got an over-under of 7.5. Arizona's 38-30 on the road. The Giants are 39-30 at home, so a pretty good home team. We've actually got mixed trends here towards the over-under. The Giants are an under team at home, but Arizona is 35-29-4 to the over on the road. Guys, we've got an over-under of 7.5 in this game. Maybe this is some kind of trap. If it is, I'm falling for it. Guys, I think the Diamondbacks could score 8 runs just on Hayden Birdsong, let alone that Giants bullpen that they're going to be facing for probably 5 at least innings in this game. Give me over 7.5 in this spot. This is definitely going in the pinned comment. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.